Yeah, I think we can get started. More people keep joining in. I hope everybody can see the shared screen as well.
Loud and clearly, Satwick.
Perfect. So our main purpose of today's webinar was, the channel that's working for most of us in BD today uh, is cold calling. Email has its all set of unique challenges right now, from deliverability to just the amount of spam and automation there is right now. And as the importance of cold calling is growing even more, there's a lot of new stuff coming in from AI, questions on how to do that, power dialers, combination of those things. So the idea was to look at where cold calling has been till now, how it's been run till now, and what we are seeing together as the future of cold calling, especially with, in the context of power dialers and leveraging AI within cold calling itself. If you look at the current state, most of the AI stuff is being used. The output is primarily email, whereas that's not where our meetings are coming from. So thought was get experts like Alan and Jan who are in the trenches doing this, and discuss together where we are right now in the cold calling state, and how do we, what does the future state look like? How are early adopters already leveraging AI within cold calling? What we're calling is cold calling 2.0. Let me introduce Alan and Jan. Alan, over to you.
All right, let's start. All right, thank you for the intro and for giving us the agenda. My name is Alan. Well, I'm super happy to be here, and let's start with the most important thing, right? That is to understand where we are. Well, I don't know if you're jumping, or if you want, I can present myself and then we can connect that with Jan. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
Alan, I don't think you need a further introduction.
My background is pure sales B2B. I started working in sales more than 11 years ago as a junior SDR, so making calls and calls and calls. So this is something that I have mixed feelings. I love it and I hate it at the same time. So I think that we are related to that every day. And right now I'm working as a consultant. I help companies, startups, and scale up businesses to leverage different methodologies to basically grow their business, mainly with cold calling, cold email, and multi-channel strategies within outbound and inbound as well. So I'm super happy to join you guys and at least share a couple of ideas on how we can make cold calling a little bit more pleasant when we are doing it, right? So yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
My name is Jan. When I met Alan, I think it was a year ago or something, online. I just followed his content and we became really good friends. So when Satwick, you asked us to join this, I of course said yes. For me, cold calling, I think like a lot of us, you just had to do it. I applied for a business development role in my first role, and we had no CRM. We just had a cold calling list of 100 people, and we needed to call 100 connected calls every day. So what you basically had to do is to call every single person every day until they pick up. So that was my first role. Our KPI was 10 connected calls, so 10 conversations an hour. So that's how I started. It worked really well, but of course, it's not really sustainable in the long run, right? You will burn out at some point. So let's talk about how we can make it a bit smarter. But otherwise, I work as an account executive, enterprise account executive at Pleo. Just like you, just came from a call. They were trying to sign the quote, but I cannot. So I will, after this, jump back to finally sign the quote. So I'm really excited to hear about more from you guys, also how you're doing it, and share some of the mistakes I have maybe done, so that you don't need to do them again.
I'll give a short introduction of myself as well. I'm one of the co-founders at Evabot. And this topic is very close to home because I run our entire, GTM and BizDev team as well. When we started the company, I was the first, SDR, AE, salesperson all rolled into one. Started off initially with lots of cold emails. I realized that Like, I think I emailed about for 6 months without getting a response, and then bumped into a salesperson at one of the mixers, and he said, just pick up the phone and start dialing. And you will get not just better responses, but you will also learn what to actually write in the email. So hopefully you get a response there. That's how I got started. And then as we scale our team, this became something very important to us, like how to crack the code on this, how to make a process out of it. And then we started, building our product, Evabot around this to help with the challenges as well. Coming to the current state of cold calling, I think all of us have seen the numbers really take a tumble. Jan, you mentioned when you started off, you could have 100 people list and hope to connect to 10 of them if you dial all day long, just to 100 people. Uh, what we are seeing now between mobile number challenges, people working from home, the office numbers no longer being a reliable source to contact people, connect rates are like plummeting. Even when we look at our own data for our own SDR team, about a year ago, 18 months ago, our average connect rates were like comfortably in the region of like 12%, 14%, uh, dial to connect. And now on a good week, uh, with connection boosts and changing numbers and all of that optimization and running it, for mobile only, and hot numbers to pick up, like all of that combined is yielding somewhere between 5 to 8% connect rates. What are you guys seeing on this part?
And maybe Alan, for you it's a bit different because you own your own full cycle. But for us, it's the same. Like we have set account lists, so set target lists. So in the beginning of the year, you get assigned a territory of specific accounts and you go after them. And what you don't want to do is to burn them, because if you burn them in the beginning of the year, you won't be able to close them in the end of the year. So you need to be really strategic about that, on how you call, whom you call first, which information you're getting. So you're taking a below the line approach, right? You first engage sale to finance, so first to the finance managers, or do I go directly to the board and then go down to the CFO? So it's really interesting strategies, but it's the same. I think what you need to do is to be relevant in the cold call. Like, why are you reaching out? Because when you have a relevant reason, so I try to always focus on two things: why change, and why is it relevant now? If you're able to answer those three questions, the cold call actually becomes fun and interesting. And then the people are way more likely to actually engage in a conversation with you. But it's, of course, not easy, right? That's why we are speaking today. Yeah. How's it for you, Alan?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I think that there are two main things, or there is a combination of on two factors that are having a clear impact on why cold calling still works. For sure, it works, but it's harder than ever. Two main things. First one, or the first pillar, if you want to call it that way, are the soft skills, right? You know that in a startup, time is money. And as a founder, as a CEO, or as a sales manager or VP of sales, you are telling your reps, hey, you have to cold call. I'm not going to train you. For sure, this is a generic insight, but this is what I'm seeing with some clients that I'm working with.
You don't have for me when I started.
Exactly. You don't have the resources to help your sales reps to perform well, or either you are not training them in the right way, either they have quotas that there are no ways that they can achieve, or different factors. And the problem is that if you don't have those skills, soft skills, like how to start a conversation, what is the objective of the cold call, how to run a smooth conversation, how to handle objections, as someone is saying in the chat, how to follow a conversation, there's no way that you can make it relevant and hyper qualified in terms of then book a meeting afterwards. First of all, the second point, it's as a human, we are lazy, right? And all these AI solutions that I encourage people to use them and to embrace them and to leverage them for sure. What is happening is that either if we are talking for cold calling, but even for email and for DMs, you can, with one click, send thousands and thousands and thousands of emails, right? Right now, with power dialers, and a difference with what you were saying, Jan, that you had to make 100 calls per day. Right now, if you are disciplined, you can make 250 calls per day. So more than twice what you were, or 500 calls per day. I don't know, like the number is insane. What happened? You scale the volume, and sometimes, or most of the time, I would say, people or companies think that because you are doing more, you will get better results. And that's not exactly linear. So what is going on is that you have poor soft skills, you are calling this amount of people. The equation is, if you are calling more people, still with poor skills of conversational skills, that doesn't mean that will impact your booking rate, right? And on top of that, because you are calling a lot of people and hundreds and hundreds of companies are doing the same, people are blocking cold callings or cold callers. So the connection rate is going down. So it's like a formula for disaster, basically. And that's why we need to see how we can scale the process to make more cold calls at the same time of being better at cold calling and more relevant when we have the conversation. And this is where the magic happens. And that's why it's difficult, right?